Oh, okay. So I'm not terribly prepared. I wasn't sure I was going to do a story tonight. This is going to sound like I'm bragging, but I'm totally not. It's because I'm kind of like really good at forgiveness, and it's because I have, for most of my life, I've had a really big problem with like self-esteem. So like as soon as I would do, like someone would do something shitty to me, and I'd be like, well, I forgive you, I'm a shitty person, so I totally get why you do shitty stuff. Well, I would do something awful, and I would just immediately beg and plead for forgiveness because that was like my reflex on it. So I was trying to think all night of something I could do that was like meaningful to forgiveness, because really, it's no big deal to me at all. So I think I'm going to tell a story about the one time I consciously chose not to forgive someone, and that sounds like a dick thing, but it was actually like a big moment for me. So I was in college, and I lived on campus until my senior year. And then I was like, I'm a senior, I should probably not live on campus. So I got an apartment with people I didn't know at all. And it was a lovely gay man that I was sharing a room with, and two straight women. And because I'm really stupid, I immediately got a crush on one of the women I was living with. Just immediately. Her name was Jillian, and I was a creative writing major, and she was a creative writing major. And we shared each other's work, and that's like all I needed to fall in love with her, because I'm stupid. And she was intelligent and like very pretty and very creative and very talented, and also a huge bitch, and I didn't realize this right away. And I don't use that word lightly at all. But I had a crush on her, and it was painfully obvious that I had a crush on her to like everyone that was living in that apartment. And she figured it out pretty quickly, like a couple of months in. And I didn't ever make a move or tell her about it or anything. I told myself it was because I was a roommate and it'd be weird. It was really just because I knew she would say no. Yeah, eventually things started to kind of take a turn for the worst. And like I said, she realized that I liked her and was not uncomfortable making me feel bad or do things for her and sort of like wielding it as a power over me. Like I remember one time I was in the library on campus, and I was working in the library, and she came in, and I was at the time like frantically finishing a paper, and she came down and sat down and used a computer next to me, and I just sort of didn't acknowledge her. I just ignored her because I was working on a paper. So later that night at the apartment, she was like, "Hey Spencer, I was in the library today, I saw you, and you didn't say hi to me. That was really creepy." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that was creepy. Next time I see you in a public setting, I'll be sure to say hi." So a couple of weeks later, I was in the grocery store, and she was buying bananas. And I was like, "Oh, there's Jillian. I'm going to go say hi to her so I'm not going to be creepy in her eyes anymore." So I go over and I say hi to her, and she's like listening to her iPod, and she was like shocked and uncomfortable to see me. So I went back to the apartment, and she said to me, "Hey Spencer, you know when you walked up to me in the supermarket and said hi to me, that was really creepy." And I was like, so it's creepy when I don't say hi, it's creepy when I do say hi. I honestly, genuinely believe that to this day, creepy is just a code word for guy I'm not attracted to. Sitting in the living room watching a movie, and there were like all these characters in the movie, and there was one dude who was like the one dude that wasn't a young Leonardo DiCaprio, and they were like, it's creepy. And I was like, okay, I get what you mean by creepy now. But sort of the breaking point for me was she had an old friend from high school was coming to visit her, and her name was Santa, and whatever, that was her name. So they came in and they just proceeded to get hammered drunk because it was college, whatever, that happens. But Santa got a little too drunk and vomited in our sink. Just destroyed our sink. And we realized this. We had like a little roommate meeting while they were still up partying and drinking in the living room. And we were like, did Santa just barf in our sink? And we're like, that's clearly, obviously what happened. We could see the barf in our sink. So we went up and talked to her and was like, Santa, are you okay? Did you just throw up in our sink? And she's like, no, I absolutely did not throw up. And Jillian, of course, came to her defense. That's crazy. Why are you accusing her of barfing in her sink? Like, because I can see the barf in the sink. So we didn't have a plunger or anything to fix this with, so me and the lovely gay roommate that I actually liked, we trek out in like sub-zero temperatures, and we were like super stoned also, like we were debilitatingly high. So this was like an ordeal for us to go out and like, get a plunger and fix the sink. So that was the moment when I was genuinely over her, and like that was rare to be like, this person's so shitty, I'm not going to be attracted to her anymore. But then eventually, but of course, we didn't ever talk about or have a conversation about how I obviously had the hots for her at one point. So we just sort of lived in uncomfortable mutual silence for several months. And then I moved back to Rochester. I graduated college and moved back to Rochester. And sort of what happened is she, at the last moment, realized she had to move the next day and failed to account for the couch that she had to move. And she decided she was going to pay the mover that she hired $50 extra to move this couch that she didn't announce, and would just have the other roommates pay their share of her moving her couch. And she just sort of, she sent me an email being like, you owe me 15, like not like, hey, can you give me $10, $15 for this couch that I owned and decided to have moved professionally? She was just like, so by the way, you owe me $15 for me moving my couch. And it was, and I didn't respond for a long time, and one day she sort of called me back and was like, so you're gonna give me that $15? And I'm like, I don't see why I should have to pay for your moving expenses. And she was very upset by that, so I just sort of let it go. And then about a week later, she called me very drunk. And this was my moment of triumph, because it was really funny. But she called me very drunk. It was like, Spencer, why are you not paying me these $15? And I'm like, I really don't. It's the principle of the thing, which is like the mating call of people that refuse to forgive for shitty reasons. She was like, do you hate me, Spencer? Do you hate me? And I said to her, no, I just don't particularly like you. And I hung up. That's all I